Good morning.
That's it, right?
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Listen, if I was more excited right now, there'd literally be two people sitting right here in front of you. But since it's just me, I'm going to have to kick this thing off. Actually, I'm not by myself, though, because I got my man Malcolm Brown over here. What's up, Big Malcolm?
What's happening, man? I'm glad to have you here, Cup of Joe, man. Cup of Joe, you just don't know how happy I am to have you, man. I've been saying that name for a while.
You have been saying it, man.
Cup of Joe.
Say it like you mean it, man. Speak it out of your chest.
Cup of Joe.
Yeah. Man, I'm super excited to be here, man, because this is like a dream realized, right?
Yes,
but I want, before we get started, and this is our pilot program, man, our pilot Cup of Joe morning show is going to air every Wednesday morning at this exact time. So tune in. But I want you to let them know where on Facebook and where on YouTube they could pick this broadcast up live while we're going and streaming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to put it up on the screen for those of you who are watching the replay or those of you who are tuning in. I want you to know that the Cup of Joe morning show will air every Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. All you have to do is click our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and watch live. And you can also call in at 832-560-2885 with your congratulatory congratulatory calls and your
even Q&As. We'll take Q&As today, but I want to set some ground rules, man.
Okay.
So if we're all set, we're ready to rock this thing out.
We're ready to rock this thing.
Listen, man. Again, first of all, Malcolm, I want to thank you, man, for your diligence of getting this program and getting me on this radio station.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and I appreciate both you and Lisa for all the work that you do behind the scenes that people don't see, right? But what we see is a well put together, orchestrated show. And I've watched several shows of yours, man, and I see the professionalism. So I appreciate all that you guys are doing.
You're welcome.
But listen, man, again, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday. Once I get all these confirmations, you're going to find this show is really going to expand. It's going to expand with more content, obviously, but also we're going to expand with guests. We're going to make sure that we have literally the top of the top in their professions, giving advice and giving commentary, as it were, on what they've done to be successful in whatever genre, be it real estate, be it mortgages, which is what I do for a living, right? And even lifestyling, right? So this broadcast is going to be one, guys, that we're going to focus on a lot of different things. It's going to be like a holistic approach to bettering oneself But of course, since I'm a mortgage professional, we're going to be talking about mortgages. We're going to talk about how to get your credit together, right? How to prepare yourself to be more attractive to lenders and knowing what the lenders want. It's like learning the insider trader secrets, as it were, of how to navigate in this financial landscape that oftentimes they just don't want us to know about, guys. So I'm on a mission, and I've always been on this mission, Malcolm, to illuminate to the layperson the complexities of the mortgage industry. How can we navigate the landmines, right?
The
landmines, and they're preset landmines. They
Yes,
are. So we're going to help you to navigate these landmines so we can get what it is that we know that we deserve, man. In this case, it happens to be a home, or it might be a business we want to launch, and what's the best way to launch a business and things like that. Those are the things we're going to be talking about. But I think before I even get started, I have to take a woo-saw because I'm knocking stuff over. Right? I'm going to take my AirPods out. They're not necessary right now. Matter of fact, they probably got me talking louder than I probably need to.
No, you sound just fine, sir.
Okay, perfect. So here's the thing. I want to first of all, give honor to God for an opportunity to even come before you and do what we're embarking on. Okay. We believe that this endeavor doesn't just include a radio broadcast. It includes written books, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. It also includes my mortgage office, which I believe, and it's been prophetically spoken to me, that my office will be a vehicle of economic empowerment for the community. Which is to say that as we move forward, we're going to make sure that we embark on a mission to help as many people get the information that they need, the correct information that they need to do what it is they're looking to do. Everyone may not be in a position to buy a house right now, but if that's something that's on the horizon in your future, we want to make sure that you walk into that with all eyes wide open, no surprises, no gotchas, right? And the way we do that is just give you good, strong information and content. And that's one of our missions here with this broadcast. So if I may just, again, in slowing down to speed up, just do a quick intro, because there's people hopefully that will listen to this broadcast and say, well, who the heck is Cup of Joe? Who is Joe Humphrey? So it starts with this, man. It starts with Joe Humphrey is a man that loves God. I'm a man who understands business to the degree that I do and operate in business as a means to empower myself and my loved ones, my family, to do the things that we want to do and live the life that we want to live, right? I'd be remiss if I didn't just pause for the cause and say big shout out to my beautiful wife, Cindy, who is a bit under the weather here this morning, but I know she's tuning in. So hi, baby. If you can see me, I'm waving at you. Can I wave up here too? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I'm waving at you in two places, Cindy. That's just how deep my love goes.
I'm gonna give your wife Cindy a hand of applause.
Let's do that.
Get well, Cindy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that slow clap too. Like, but listen, so no, shout out to my wife. And she's always, man, been, she's ride or die, man. That's my wife, man. That's always there for me. Even when you don't see her, she's here.
Just being silly, Malcolm, right quick, man.
Go ahead.
I love the vibe over this past weekend between you and your wife, man. The dancing,
bro.
Man, I saw it all. I saw it all. Y'all were getting your groove on.
That was just a snippet of what goes on inside the Humphrey household, bro.
I can imagine.
Man, we do a thing called Funding on a Friday, man. That we'll talk about that at a later date. Some other time.
All right.
But no, man, we're going to talk about relationships, Malcolm, because I believe, man, that if I'm going to be married to a woman and a woman's going to be married to me, we better not only love each other, we better like each other as well.
Like each other.
It's going to be important that we have like for each other.
That's right.
Friends love, but they also like each other.
That's right.
Right? It's the like part that, love will get you through a whole bunch of issues.
That's right.
Like will allow you, man, to really enjoy it while you're going through those issues.
Right.
It's hard to live with somebody you don't like.
I have a friend. He's a music artist. We interviewed him. You may have watched that interview.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Chosen, and he has a song called In Like With You.
Wow.
In Like With You.
Yeah.
I love you, but I like you too.
Exactly.
That's what.
See, we can talk about that, man. I'm not saying right now, but let's give a little snippet. Here's a snippet. You can love someone and not like them.
Yep.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. So again, we're gonna be hopefully tapping into a variety of subject matters and and we want to get feedback as well. So part of what we want to do as well with this broadcast, man, we want to make sure it's open to the community. We want to make sure that you're able to ask your questions. I have Malcolm here that's going to field all the questions. We also are going to be taking calls and taking callers because we want to make sure that we're not just, you hear what I'm saying, Malcolm? I don't want to just put together content that I think will hit the target. The way I know we're hitting the target is that you guys help us aim at the target by giving us your hot button variety of questions and topics that you want to be discussed on this broadcast. And we'll do our best to get everything out to you, because again, I'm not just doing this just for the fact of doing the stick. I'm just doing it just to be doing it. No, we're doing it because we want to make sure we're helping people, right?
That's the name of the game. Helping people and empowering people.
Empowering people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You alluded to it earlier. Y'all, this is the Cup of Joe morning show. For everybody who's watching the show, y'all tune in every Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. He's going to be talking about relationships. He's going to be talking about mortgage, first-time buyer plans, and more. It's going to be a fun show. We want your feedback, as he already said. You can always call in at 832-560-2885. Back to the show.
Absolutely. And I'm doing this live on Facebook, so I see my friend Miss Melody Rutherford, who goes back with me and my family, man, literally from elementary and junior high school, junior high probably at Holmes Junior High. See that shout out all the way from H-Town, and I got my wife on here as well, and a few other people that are on the Facebook tab. So I'm excited about that. But listen, we were saying why a radio show? Well, I have a extensive background in radio and promotions, marketing, and such. But I just again believe that next to a television show, a radio show, I believe, is probably the best medium, because you can hear, and in this case, even see and feel what a person is saying on the radio, as opposed to just, again, writing a book, which we've done. Look, I got that book, y'all. The book is, and I believe writing makes a man exact, is what I was told. You know exactly what I meant to put in this book, because it's etched in somewhat stone by being printed. But there's something about doing radio that just is so attractive to me, because first of all, foul up bloops and blunders are going to happen, right? Because it's live radio. And secondly, it allows us to contextualize and really put emphasis on certain things. There are certain things, like right now, I'm looking into the camera. There's certain things that we're going to be talking about that you're going to hear voice inflections. You're going to hear, the emotions that are going to come, because there'll be some subject matters that are going to probably be pretty close to the heart and very close to the, close to what the situation that we're going through, and sometimes even still yet dealing with. But I want to be a positive positive input and a force for change with whatever it is that we might be dealing with. Okay, so the radio to me is like a normal progression, right? So the topics that we talked about that we're going to be going over will be a variety. But right now, what I want to do is take just a moment. I'm going to take just a moment to catch my thoughts on one thing. Can I get a pause for a moment? Let's put some music on. I want to take a quick break. Okay. It's important that I do this. Something I'm doing behind the scenes, right? Okay. I just need about 30 seconds of your time. Can we do that?
Yes, indeed. We sure can. We sure can. I'll tell you what, for those of y'all who just now tuned in, I'm going to give you a special treat. The man made his own jingle, y'all. He came in with his own jingle, and I'm going to let you hear it for those of y'all who are just now tuning in. It's the Cup of Joe morning show on Real Talk 100 Radio, and this is his jingle.
Let's go. Take it from the top.
Cup of Joe morning show. It's the Cup of Joe, Cup of Joe, Cup of Joe, Cup of Joe. Yeah. Good morning. Cup of Joe morning show. Yeah. Cup of Joe morning show. Good morning.
jingle. Give me a little feedback on that. That was one of my own little tunes that I put together specifically for this show because that's what we do. That's how we do it. So I wanted to get back to some topics, guys. Let's do some couple of overviews on what we're going to be discussing, and we can tap into it and maybe even jump into it. If you got a little thing that you might want to interject here, Malcolm, feel free to do so. Yes, obviously, we're going to be talking about home buying practices.
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And here's the thing. One of the things that I I don't pride myself on it, but it's just something I think is awfully important, is to talk with the person and meet them where they are in the process. Everyone is not a mortgage professional. Everyone is not a rocket scientist, and you don't have to be to buy a house. You don't have to know every aspect of the home buying process in order to buy a house and participate in that process. But obviously, we want to educate you to the degree that you feel comfortable, because I have a philosophy that no one speeds in the fog, right? I mean, that's in the natural, but that's also thinking of the fog that's in our minds, that we feel things are a bit foggy, that I don't quite see exactly where I'm going. I'm not going to rush to that.
No, sir.
I'm going to find myself taking my time. So sometimes, and I'll say this here, success loves speed, right?
Yes, sir.
In order to do something, you have to do it if you want to do it successful, you have to do it on purpose. And oftentimes you have to do it with haste. You do it with no delay. That's one of the biggest issues with person A and person B. Person A is successful. Person B is not so much. It may not be anything about their backgrounds, may not have anything to do with their knowledge base, but the differentiating factor could be person A moves quickly. They make decisions quickly. You dig what I'm saying? You hear that, Snap?
I say that all the time.
It's real.
I don't, and people hate when I say it, but I say I don't like doing all that thinking. I like making a definitive decision right now.
That is the caveat that differentiates successful people from people who just want and wish to be successful.
Yes, sir.
Successful people, we leap before we look.
Yes, sir.
Most people have been taught to look before you leap. See, entrepreneurialism is really a risk. It's just taking a risk.
Yes, sir.
What makes it a risk? Well, I don't have all the information.
Right.
So I'm going to calculate what I do have and move from there, make a decision and move out on that decision.
And move and adjust in midair.
And adjust in midair. You find you a landing
Yes,
spot
sir.
while you're yet in the air.
Yes, sir.
Somebody's going to catch that on the way home, man, or on the way to the donut shop.
All the time. Your good friend is tuned in, Miss Lady Cassandra Webb.
Oh, we got to sit. Can we bring her on?
Yes, she's up top saying good morning.
Good morning, Miss Cassandra Lady Webb. This would not happen without you. It's just the way it is, because I believe in divine connections and making connections. So when my good friend Presley Hambrick, shout out to Big P, introduced me to you several years ago, and now here you are introducing me to Malcolm. So all things happen for a reason, but they happen, in a certain way. So I definitely appreciate you for all that you do and all that you, all who you are and what you do. Right.
A plug for Lady C before we move on with the show. This is an internationally known gospel singer. Y'all go and give her a follow on Instagram and Facebook. I believe Instagram is Lady CJ Webb, and Facebook is Lady Cassandra Webb. Gospel singer, singer-songwriter. Thank you for tuning in. Share the video all over the world, because this is a Cup of Joe, and it's the morning show.
And this is what we do. That's what's up, Malcolm. So we're going to, again, speak on the home buying practices, because, again, we want to make sure that you have the right information when the time comes for you to purchase a home. We're going to talk about credit repair strategies. And again, I have a philosophy. I have many philosophies, bro. You're going to hear me say, I have a philosophy, but it's just real, because it is what it is. I believe you have to have principles and philosophies in order to be successful in anything, because, again, man, most people fly off the seat of their pants with everything they do, but you have to do things, systemically to be successful. You have to do things on purpose. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to credit, I always say that having less than perfect credit is nothing to be ashamed of. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
The shame, I think, comes from knowing you have less than perfect credit and making that decision out of fear or whatever, or doubt, to not do anything to change that. That's where the issue comes in. That's where the shame should come in.
Exactly.
Not because of things happening in your past that caused you to have, financial struggles. We all have dealt with that.
It's not where you start; it's where you end.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And you can speak on that, man, from a personal perspective, because everything we're talking about, man, when we're talking about credit, man, we could be talking about a lot of things. The principle still holds true. The principle is true when we're talking about credit, and it's true when we're talking about rehabbing one's home, rehabbing one's life, rehabbing one's relationship. It's all the same principle that's going to be utilized, and we're going to be talking about some of those things. I also have a good friend. I'm gonna give him a shout out right now. His name is Mr. Sam Bean. Man, can I get a hand clap for Sam Bean?
Sam Bean with the hand clap.
Yeah. Listen, Sam Bean deserves a hand clap. That's one of my entrepreneurial partners in business, and I'm gonna have him come on. We're gonna be talking about lifestyling it, not faking the funk. No. We're talking about getting your finances in order and living what we call an opulent lifestyle, because most people think opulence comes with multi-millionaire status. And some people also think that millionaire status comes for how much money you got in your bank account. No, sir. Millionaire status comes from, look at me, Malcolm, when I do this. It's what's in our head. What thoughts do we have? How are we thinking?
You have to think and grow rich.
Word up.
Like the book says.
Like the book says, you think and grow rich.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
So it has to start here.
It starts there. Matter of fact, Benjamin Franklin, and I'm going to try and quote him, but he said something that if you pour your purse into your mind, right? Meaning put your money to building your mind will create wealth that will fill your purse.
Yes, sir.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Put your money, put your bank, invest in yourself to better yourself, to better your the way of thinking. And then the best way I believe to do that is to learn from those who've done it. So Sam Bean is a guy who's done it, who's doing it, and continues to do it. And I believe that his presence on this show is going to be monumental. He's already given me the thumbs up that he's down for that. But we're going to be doing dream building and lifestyle building, and teaching you how to design the life that you desire.
Yes,
ain't that a good topic?
That's a great topic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the way, I love your verbiage. I love what you're saying, because a lot of people, not only in my life, but a lot of people I run across, I tell them all the time, stop thinking poor.
Right.
That's what's going to keep you poor.
Mm-hmm.
Think and grow rich.
That's right.
So yeah, I love what you're talking about. I love to have him. What's his name again?
His name is Sam Bean.
Sam Bean.
Samuel Bean.
I can't wait to meet him. I like surrounding myself with people who know more than me, who are more knowledgeable than me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Man, listen, I have a thought, and I don't, because I know you're going to say some things on this radio show, Malcolm, that's going to prompt me to think of some things. And what you just said is so important. You said, I want to be around people who are smarter than me.
Yes.
See, some people like to be what I call the tallest midget, and my wife knows all about this. But these are our conversations at home, right?
No,
so let me introduce you, or allow you to come into the inner sanctuary of my wife's and I conversation, right?
Yes,
so this
sir.
is a subject matter that we talk about quite a bit. The tallest midget is more of a mentality that someone has, where they always want to be the biggest, the baddest in their circle of friends.
No.
They always want to be the smartest one in the room. They always want to be the one that they're the funniest, they're the go-to person.
No.
But in actuality, they're not very successful at anything. They just choose to hang around people less than successful than themselves. So they can be the tallest among their midget friends.
Make themselves look more than what they are.
There it is. Hang around pretty girls, hang around ugly girls. And
And
I'm only saying as an example, right? So we talk about the tallest midget, and that's one thing that we say we don't want to be. And ladies and gentlemen, you do not ever want to be the tallest midget. And if you find yourself in a situation where you are, recognize it. In other words, if you're in a room and you're the smartest one in the room, exit that room and then go into another room.
Yes, sir.
That you can learn something.
Yes,
that you can be the one that now you got something to contribute, but you're not the go all be all. Everything's got to go through you, because if that's the case, unless of course you are operating at that level, then I get it. But if you're just an everyday average dude or female that don't really have much to show for all the stuff you talk, you might very well be a midget in the spirit.
You might be. You just
might be a midget, but don't hang around people smaller than you to make yourself look big. That's not how we do. So another thing we're going to talk about is personal self-development. What is personal self-development? Well, let me first tell you what it is not. Okay. Most people think personal self-development, if they're familiar with it, is, man, I read these books, I listen to these audios, and that's my personal self-development. Man, I'm going to give you, we're going to have a book of the month reading on this show. At least we're going to present one book per month that we're going to ask everyone who's listening to participate and read that book, and whatever the book might be. We just alluded to one, Think and Grow Rich, will be an excellent book that we would say anyone who's an entrepreneur or a would-be entrepreneur to read that book, because that is like a science. That's like a pragmatic way of getting your mind right to get your loot right?
Yes,
Get your mind up to get your loot up, right? So personal self-development, what it really is, though, it's not just reading books. It's not just listening to audios. It's reading books, right? Listening to audios and taking what the books are teaching, what the audios are teaching, and applying them to your life. See, without the application, there is not going to be any manifestation. We have to be able to, in order to get the manifestation, in other words, the result, we have to go through the regimen. In other words, I can't just lose weight by saying, I want to lose weight, and I'm going to lose weight, but I keep eating the same. I'm not working out. I'm not doing anything. I'm not sleeping good. See, all that stuff comes, that's the grind of it, right? People love the shine, right? But they hate the grind.
They hate the grind part.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
did. So we want to
Yes, sir.
we want to deal with the real, and the real is personal self-development is the incremental growth that you experience by operating in the principles that you are being taught by the books you're reading and the audios you're listening to. And I'll say this, it is incremental growth. It is incremental development. Why? Because as a 50-some-year-old person, you probably have been doing this thing, whatever this thing is, for the last 50 years.
50 years. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's not going to change overnight.
No.
You can read a book and that's not going to change it. But when you read a book and you have some instructions and take the wisdom of the book as instruction to apply it to your life, oh yeah, you'll find yourself incrementally getting better. And as you get better, you're developing, and that's personal self-development. And that's Joe Humphreys. That's Cup of Joe's definition, actually.
And let me interject this.
Please.
A lot of people give up on the grind because it doesn't happen instantaneously.
Absolutely.
And they're like, okay, I read the book, I read that book, I listened to you, I listened to the audio from such and such and such and such, and I'm not rich yet. You're not gonna get rich overnight. You're not gonna be wealthy. Your life is not gonna change overnight instantaneously. It's not happening. It might take 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
Let me tell you this, man. I don't want to put on anyone a timeline to their manifestation of success. Because if you show me, this is real talk, if you show me, Malcolm, an overnight success, we've heard those terms before. Oh, he was here one day. Next time I saw him, man, he was there, and it was overnight success. But the reality of it is, when you see an overnight success, you have to know they've been grinding for many years to get to the point that they are now, that now they're being recognized as being successful.
They laid the groundwork.
I want to give you a definition. This is noteworthy, guys. This definition is noteworthy. It should be written out. Let's write this out, can we? And put it on the screen. This is Cup of Joe's definition.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chris is good. Whoa, read what Chris is saying, and then we'll drop back in that.
This is Chris Spice Knight, tuned in all the way from Washington, everybody. Chris Spice Knight is a very successful woman. She says, having great successful mentors has been a blessing for me, and learning from them and communicating with them taught them as well. We can learn from each other and teach each other with our time and communication. I'm interested in what you have to share with your knowledge. The Cup of Joe Morning Show.
Come on, Chris. That's what I'm talking about.
Washington.
Spice Knight.
So you're being heard in Washington right now.
I love
that.
that.
She will share the video. She's very loyal to Real Talk 100 Radio. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, that's dope. That's dope. Thank you, Chris. Continue to support this incredible endeavor. And I'm not speaking of the show. I mean the radio, the radio station. So we love that. So here's my definition of success. It's one that I've adopted. It's not originally my own, but that's the beauty of wisdom. You don't have to always be the originator of the wisdom, but you can be the curator of it, meaning that you've embodied it, you've actually ingested it, and now you live it. So here's the definition. Success is the worthy. It's the pursuit of a worthy ideal, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you the actual definition, but I wrote it down. Here it is. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. I'll say it again. Success is, what did I just say, man?
Success is, I can't remember.
I want you to write it, man.
I'm trying to write it as you talk.
Success is the progressive, which means it's moving, it's progressing, realization, it's making itself evident in your life of a worthy ideal or concept or something you've grabbed on hold to and said, I want to be good at this, right? To your point, most people think that money comes as a result of success, right? Or should I say success comes as a result of money is what people think. So I'm successful when I'm making a lot of money. That's not necessarily true. So this definition that I'm stumbling over and stumbling through is essentially saying this. If a school teacher decides to become a school teacher, counts the cost of getting his or her degree, progressively works towards getting his or her degree, finds themselves in a classroom, progressing in the ideal of helping the youth, for instance, they are successful. This comes before they get a paycheck, my friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? The money comes, but it's not that the success comes as a result of the money. The money comes as a result of the success.
The money comes as a result of the success. So, and this is a shout out to our Friday night show. Mm-hmm. When I say what I'm about to say, they always say mission before the commission.
There it is.
And that's basically what you're saying right
Wonderful.
now.
That's well put.
Yes, sir.
Imagine this, and ladies and gentlemen, for this to make sense, imagine a wood burning stove and someone walking up in the dead of winter in Michigan and saying, hey, give me heat before I put in the wood. No, you put in the wood first.
Yes, sir. Then
the heat follows. It's
yes,
an inevitability.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to success, listen, it is the progressive realization of a worthwhile, a worthy ideal, and you are automatically, when you're in that progression, you're successful. Money will come, but don't look for the money to determine how much success you're having.
That's right. That's right. I have the definition for you on the screen. Success is the progressive. Success is the progressive. I wrote it wrong.
I'll read it because I'm going to read it, but success is the progressive realization, which means that it's moving, it's progressing, right? It's making itself evident in your life of a worthy ideal or concept or something that you grabbed hold to and said, I want to be good at this.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I want to give something, and my wife and I, again, we talk about this all the time. Here's another one that might sound a little deep, and it might sound a little long-winded, but it's something I think we need to talk about.
Cleveland, Ohio is in the house. Please share the video for the Cup of Joe morning show. This is about what, Joe? Once again, before you get into your next topic.
What we're going to be talking about here now?
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the 4 stages of learning.
4 stages of learning. Hey.
That'll change your life, ladies and gentlemen.
To Wayne McGee, thank you for tuning in. Lisa Murphy, thank you for tuning in. Miss Lady Cassandra Webb, thank you for tuning in. We have Dr. Cam Hill tuned in. To Wayne McGee tuned in. Thank y'all. But if you're tuned in, my cousin from Fort Worth is tuned in. If y'all please go to Real Talk 100 Radio and tune in and comment. I'm not able to see your comments and put them on the screen for Cup of Joe to read. Thank you. Back to Cup of Joe.
Yeah, we also have some comments coming in from some wonderful people who are watching here on my live feed on Facebook. So we got Yolanda Sallard coming in from East Orange, New Jersey. I think you were invited by my wife's cousin, so that's dope. I love that. My buddy from this guy here, he and I go back, snotty nose and afros. I'm talking about Mr. Ken Anderson. Listen. Ken says success doesn't always mean how much money you make. Real talk, man. That's why we're on Real Talk Radio, Ken. That's what's up, man. We got again Cassandra Webb saying good morning. I love it. Who else we got? Of course, my wife. She's always there to pick me up and pick up where I might be dropping the ball. She says, progressive realization of a worthy ideal, Joe. Get it right, baby. Come on now. But I want to talk very quickly, man. And this is something that when I understood this, it took away a lot of the frustration of being driven to be successful, right? So I want to talk about this and do like a little slow roll, but it's not going to take a long time to kick it out. But I want you to write, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are able to do so, write this down. It's what's known as the 4 stages of learning, right? The first stage is you're going to be what's called unconsciously incompetent, which is basically to say, when you're in that initial stage of learning something new, be it a job, be it a person, be it whatever it is, anything that you do well, you started off, right, not knowing how to do it. So you started off in phase 1. You're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know. And it breeds frustration oftentimes. How many of us have started a new job and they inundated you with all this information and you just felt overwhelmed? Well, you're in phase 1 or stage 1 of learning. Here we go. So once we recognize that this is the stage we're in, it equips you to go to the next stage, right? The second stage of the 4 stages of learning is when you're aware now, but you're still incompetent. So you're consciously incompetent. That transition just basically comes where I just say, listen, I don't know what I don't know. Now, Malcolm comes and said, well, no, Joe, it's a couple things here. I know you're frustrated, but we're going to help you work through it. Well, now at least I know I don't know. I'm conscious of the fact, but I still can't perform the task, right? Which moves me to the 3rd stage. And ladies and gentlemen, put an asterisk, if you will, by the 3rd stage, because if you do this the way that I'm expressing it, in this stage, you can become and will become profitable. You will become productive. Right. So the 3rd stage is you are consciously competent. You follow me? So I'm going to go back to stage 1. Stage 1, unconsciously incompetent. Stage 2, consciously incompetent. Stage 3, you're consciously competent because guess what you have? You have notes. You have things that you can go over that keep you on track, that lets you know I'm doing this the right way. But I don't know it yet, but I have to have a cheat sheet. I have to have some handlebar. What do you call it? Some training wheels, as it were, right? Yes, but I'm doing the work now, but I need the assistance, the aid of some external force, be it an instructor or whatever the case may be, notes in order to do the work. So I'm in stage 3. You can produce in stage 3, right? Because you're now consciously competent. When you do it so many times, Malcolm, before you know it, you know it like the back of your hand. Yes, sir. Then you move into stage 4. That's the stage we all want to be in. That's when you're unconsciously competent, which is to say you don't even have to think about it. Yes. It's a muscle reflex now. Success comes much easier to those who navigate through the 4 stages of learning, and they don't sit too long in stage 1 or 2. The problem, or should I say the challenge with most people, is that they quit at stage 1 or 2 before they learn fully how to navigate and to really excel in whatever that endeavor is. They faint in their well-doing because they just got too frustrated. Because in those first 2 stages, you're going to find frustration is what it is. And
I have the biggest ego on the planet. I'm borderline cocky, arrogant when it comes to being confident. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I can conquer all. But I've been there. I've been to the point where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to stop. But I kept going. I kept going until I'm at stage 4 now.
You're stage 4. Now, stage 4 in a lot of things is not a good thing. You know, you got stage 4 a disease, that ain't a good thing. But stage 4, when it comes to learning, yes, sir, that means you have done it so much that it's so routine to you, it's natural now, that it's just a natural reaction for you to get up here and do what you're doing in this radio station, man. Yes, sir. But the first day you got exposed to that board, it was probably different. Right?
Help me.
So guys, it's things like this. And again, I don't say these to try and be cute or to try and be the smartest guy in the room. These are just things that I just know from my experience with very successful people. And again, when you think about it, you can relate that whatever it is that you had to learn, you went through different stages, right? The key to this, and all I admonish you to do now, is do not quit in stages 1 or 2.
Don't do it.
Stage 3, where we're saying you're consciously competent, you have the help and the aid of external things that will keep you on track. That brings forth relief, but you're also operating in that thing that you're actually able to be productive. It's stage 4 that we want to get to, though, guys, where you know it so well that it's like the back of your hand. That's what I do when it comes to certain things. I do it so much, like talking. I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. It just comes out because I realize once you get into a flow, you feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Could I always do this? No. You know what I used to have when I was a kid, bro? A speech impediment.
Speech impediment?
Would you believe that this dude who talks the way I speak now, I had a speech impediment most of my childhood.
Wow. And you overcame it?
By the Spirit of the Lord, I overcame it.
By yourself, or did you have?
No, it's the stages of learning. I listen, man. I believe no man is an island unto himself. No man is an island unto himself. The moment somebody say, "I did this, I overcame this, I did that," man, I just don't believe that. I believe that whatever improvements that I've had happen in my life, it was teamwork that made that dream work.
Yes, sir.
I might have been the face of it because it was me, but it was people behind me pushing me. I had a teacher. Matter of fact, I know this teacher. I remember this teacher so well because they always challenged me. Her name is Miss Ribner.
Miss Ribner.
Miss Ribner was my second grade teacher. See, back in the second grade, JoJo talked like this, like buckwheat. Oh. And it was a joke.
Okay.
That got my skills up as far as being able to retaliate. I used to get angry about it, but then I started joking. I found that I was very humorous to people. And if somebody teased me about the way I spoke, I buckwheat them their butts up and down the hallway, to no end. Until I learned how to slow down, speak better diction, yes. Right? And then I have my brother-in-law, who is Pastor Herb Crump. He also reiterated this when we were in high school. He used to call it talking lazy.
Okay.
Stop talking so lazy.
Okay.
Because we're like cutting the corner. We don't say passing the remote control. We just say passing the remote control.
Right.
And he's like, man, it's not a remote control. It's a remote.
It's not a remote control. It's not. I hear that all the time.
It was a remote control to me, man. It did the same thing as the remote control, and it was easier to say. It was easy to ask for. So no, man, one thing that we want to do, and again, this is real talk. This is a Real Talk 100 radio, so we're going to do our real talk, right? And the real talk is every winner. And I'll give credit to a gentleman by the name of Jared Wilkins. You're going to find that I am never going to be the dude that say, Cup of Joe know it all, and I know it all because of me. Never, ever, ever. Man, I learned from some of the best. A gentleman by the name of Jared Wilkins used to always say, every winner was first just a beginner.
Just a beginner.
Yes, sir. Think about this, man. Every person that's ended up winning at something was just They were a beginner at some point, just like the 4 stages of learning dictates, right? Every master was first a disaster.
Yes. I'm going to list every master was a disaster at one point, and I'm going to list 2 of the greatest of all times. Y'all forgive me. I'm a sports fanatic. So is Joe. We're going to get into that soon.
Yeah, we're going to have a sports debate. I see my boy DeJuan Johnson just jumped on here. I want him to be live when I start talking about LeBron James.
We're going to have a lot of fun on this show, y'all.
I know, man. It's coming. I see it.
This is the Cup of Joe morning show where we're going to be talking about home buyers. We're going to be talking about first-time home buyers. We're going to be talking about mortgage, fixing your credit to purchase your first home, relationships, sports now. This is going to be a fun show. This is the debut show of the what? I'm going to put it on the screen right now. The Cup of Joe morning show. Yeah. And the point I wanted to make was I'm going to list 2 of the greatest of all times.
Okay.
Who were disasters before they were masters.
Talk.
Do you know Michael Jordan didn't make varsity?
He got cut. He got cut his sophomore year.
Got cut his sophomore year. Do you know Tom Brady was a 6th or 7th round draft pick?
Yeah. He went to Michigan, remember?
Went to Michigan.
And came out. Look, he remember remember how he looked in the combine.
Yes.
And they showed that dude running his 40. Had one of the historically slowest 40s of any position player.
Yes, sir.
But he ended up being the GOAT.
the GOAT, Tom Brady, and Michael Jordan. That's all I can list right now. But that is indicative of what you're talking about. You know, when you go from disaster to master.
Malcolm, I'm gonna share something, and I'm gonna say this, man. It's gonna probably initially cause most people that might hear me say this a thought that no, that's not true, because everyone who's successful, they might have gone through whatever they were going through, but they didn't go through this progression that you're talking about. I'm here to tell you that any and every successful person, by whatever measure you measure their success, have a very similar track record of what we're talking about right now. I remember meeting this gentleman, and he at the company, he had done so well so fast. A matter of fact, he had hit a position. I'm Cup of Joe, right? So we had an online coffee business we were operating in, right? And this gentleman hit a rank that was equivalent of the production of a local Starbucks. He was moving that much coffee online.
Okay.
And he did this. He reached that level in 9 days. Can I put my 9 up? Where's 9 days?
9 days.
And I remember meeting him because, again, I was the voice on the radio for this particular coffee company. And the gentleman was like, when I met him, I was like, Cup of Joe. He said, oh, man, what's up, Joe? How you doing? I said, man, congrats, super congrats on hitting this rank in 9 days.
9 days.
Man, that dude turned around. We were walking. He stopped, turned around, and he didn't confront me, but he wanted to correct me, and it changed the way I was thinking. He says, Cup of Joe, it wasn't 9 days. It was 9 years in 9 days.
Okay.
This guy is more articulate than I am, but he also had something he had to overcome that I had no idea, Malcolm. He had to overcome it. And what it was, he was so shy. He was an introvert.
Okay.
So this story is something that when you listen to the context of it, you'll see. My man said Kobe shooting those 2 air balls back at Utah back in the day.
Yes.
Who would have thought that young kid would end up being Kobe Bean Bryant that we know to be Kobe, right? So good point, DeJuan. All these success stories start and have a progression of you're having to overcome something that you are just not good at, period. Right. So this guy's name is Jonathan Green. Jonathan said, no, not 9 days, Cup of Joe. It was 9 years in 9 days. But I found out later his story was he was very, very shy, right? And to overcome his shyness, what this guy did, he went to a karaoke bar. He was not intoxicated. The guy doesn't even drink. He did that to challenge himself. He went to a karaoke bar. He can't sing. He wasn't drunk, and he started singing karaoke in front of strangers.
And who are we talking about again?
This is a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Green.
Okay.
To overcome his fear of public speaking, his fear, he was so shy and he was an introvert. He did what I call a conscious interrupt to himself and broke that pattern because he realized that pattern was not going to, that situation that he had, that fear was going to block him from meeting and reaching the levels of success that he knew was in him to reach.
He had to overcome it.
He had to overcome it.
Yes.
That's part of his story.
What's holding you back? What's holding you back? You need to overcome that.
And a lot of times people don't even know, they can't identify what it is because it's like looking at a tree, right? If you look at it, I'm looking out your window right now and I'm seeing a group of trees. That tree represents what's holding you back. So we recognize that, but the issue that I'm speaking of that we don't know how necessarily to deal with it, because do we pull the leaves? Do we cut the branches, or do we go to the root of the problem? You dig? And that's where the challenge comes. So again, and we can talk about that. You know, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist, but I do realize that if you're going to overcome anything, you got to face that thing head on.
Yes. Grab the bull by the horns and move on.
I want to test something. I want a very astute Christian person. I want someone to give me a definition. DeJuan Johnson, Cindy Humphrey, either one, someone online, give me your definition of faith, right? It can be something simple of believing something you can't see. Can we agree with that?
But faith is believing something you can't see.
I know what the Bible's definition of faith. Now, faith is we know that I'm not speaking. We're speaking on that, but let's make it even more simplistic, right? Faith is believing something and literally internalizing it, even though you can't see it. But here's the reality, guys. Give me the definition of fear. It's believing something you can't see and internalizing it. The difference is they both have the same definition, but they give you different results. So the point that I'm making with this is it's not about what we sometimes think. Sometimes it's about getting in on the on the ground floor and working your way to the next level. My next level might take 9 months, might take 9 years. That's not the point. We're progressing in whatever it is that we're looking to do. I feel like I'm rambling, and I don't want to ramble on that.
No.
Let's get some feedback from whoever we got, or you got it on the screen for me?
I have fear on the screen. I'm about to put it on the screen right now, and then I already have confidence in something. Faith. I already have faith on the screen now, and fear is coming up in about 3 seconds when I hit the send button.
There you go.
Now, the definition of faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. The definition of fear.
See, that's too complicated. Let's call the definition of faith believing something that we can't see. Wouldn't that pass as a definition of faith? It may not be the most comprehensive one, but wouldn't that pass for argument point? Okay, so the definition of fear is exactly the same. So here's the thing. This is the reason I say this, man. Sometimes people think they're operating in faith, but they're really operating in fear.
Yeah,
think about it.
Jumping out in fear because you can't be scared of success. You can't allow being success to strike fear in your heart. Like, you have to overcome it. In other words,
bro,
you have to overcome it. Jump out.
You dig what we're talking about here? We're talking about people who are living their lives and they desire to do something. Yes. Sometimes they're moved by fear. Sometimes they're moved by faith. It's the same definition. Okay, let me see. What is Chris saying?
Chris Spice Knight, all the way in Washington, says, I have a very successful loved one in their 65 years of great success in real estate investing. Never learned how to read and spell. Wow, that's incredible. Right. Every time they write a check, they would have to use a cheat sheet to know how to spell out the dollar amount. That's incredible. Their learning disabilities did not stop their great success. I believe everyone is capable if they choose to be.
So what Chris is saying, that success is a choice, right? Again, I believe some people, that's going to be something we're really going to have to dig into at another show. But some people, the reason they don't make it to a point called success is because they have not made the decision to be successful, right? Because again, you might be operating in faith, saying, I'm going to do this, I believe I can do it. But the reality is you have something holding you back, and now you allow that thing that holds you back to literally hold you back, and you use it as an excuse. So here's a quote. You can't make money and excuses at the same time. They cannot coexist in the same space. No. Right? You got to make a decision, like Chris is saying. You're either going to be successful, or you're going to make it happen, or you're going to make an excuse. Yes, and I was told this, the way it made sense to me. They said, okay, not so much to me, but I was in a group and they were saying this to the group. You cannot make money and excuses. They cannot operate in the same space. You got to make a decision. So if you're going to be productive and make money, you cannot rely on bailouts and making excuses. So we operate in a what we call an excuse-free zone, because making excuses is really, that's what blame is. Can I give you a definition of blame? Because I'm always in the definitions and stuff. Blame is, and you don't have to write this down, but I'll just give it to you. It's BLAME. Blame, right? People play the blame game. Blame, by definition, as an acronym, is believing lies and making excuses. You dig? You can't do that in an environment where you're looking to be successful. You got all types of excuses. You got all types of things coming against you. But the hardcore reality is, listen, you got to choose this day who you gonna serve. Okay. And if you're gonna serve fear, if you're gonna serve doubt, if you're gonna serve all these different types of excuses, then you're not gonna be able to reach your full potential. And one thing that I desire of everyone, myself especially, and people that I love and people that I don't know or don't love, I desire that everyone is successful in whatever capacity and whatever definition their success is etched in, right? My wife says, fear paralyzes you, faith moves you. Man, say that twice. Fear paralyzes you.
Fear paralyzes you.
But faith moves you. Guys, I want to close out with something because I know the hour is drawing near. The closeout is drawing near. And I'm smiling because Malcolm says, Joe, it ain't no way you're going to do an hour show. He said, dude, you got to do a 2-hour show, Cup of Joe.
By the time we get into it, it's over.
I get it. And we're going to do that. So what I wanted to do, guys, and I'll drop the wisdom, I wanted to build an audience, right? I wanted to get people listening and then really get some content. But I know when the content comes, we're probably going to have to go to 2 hours when we bring our speakers on and everything. And that's cool. Okay, that's cool. Well, listen, I'm gonna drop a couple of nuggets for you. I'm hoping that what I've said thus far has resonated with some of you, if not all of you. And if you can get one thing that has been said out of this broadcast, then I feel that we've been successful. The word of the day is see yourself, right, with the good that you desire.
Can you repeat that for me?
See yourself in your mind, right, with the good that you desire. That it's already done. You did. That's another caveat to success that I've learned from very successful people. In their mind, it's already done because I see it. Now I'm just going to do the work to bring it to the reality of it being in my possession, whatever it is, right? And here's another thing. Adopt a mindset to work harder on yourself, personal self-development, right, than you do even the endeavor. Now I got to say that one twice because that's one that was a hard lesson. Because we're all trying to do something. If it's a job or a business or a relationship, listen, work harder on yourself than you do the endeavor itself, right? Because once I work harder on myself and I get myself developed, now the endeavor becomes much easier to navigate.
Yes, sir.
You dig what I'm saying? Man, we can go on with this for a whole lot longer. But with that being said, I am Cup of Joe. This is the Cup of Joe Morning Show, and this is our very first pilot show, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you've heard, and it's only going to get better. So we're going to close this thing out with that jingle, man. So if you won't mind hitting that jingle for me, Malcolm, and we'll see you next Wednesday right here, same time, same bat station, same bat channel, Real Talk 100 Radio. Cup of Joe's out.
Before I play the closing jingle,
thank you very much.
That was pretty good, y'all, but I got to tease him. I have to tease this man. He just said it himself, so he already knows it's coming. I told him, he said, Malcolm, I want 1 hour. I want 1 hour, and we're going to build this up into something special. I said, yeah, the first day it's going to be special, and it was. It was.
I appreciate that.
It was just too fast, y'all. Yeah. Y'all get ready for a 2-hour show of what? I'm going to put it on the screen again, the Cup of Joe Morning Show. And I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody to see. If you're watching the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments. That is what the show is about up on the screen. It starts today. And now, and from here on forward, every Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., it's the Cup of Joe Morning Show. We're going to be talking about mortgage lending basics, advanced financial wisdom. We're going to be talking about personal development, relationship development. We're going to be talking about sports. Now that I hear
we're gonna get it in.
We're gonna get it in on this show, y'all. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The Cup of Joe Morning Show. He calls himself what? He calls himself Cup of Joe, the mortgage pro. Where do they follow you at, Cup of Joe?
You can follow me on certainly on Facebook, and I have the Cup of Joe business page, and I have, of course, Joseph Methodius Humphrey is my main Facebook page. I'm also on IG under the hashtag of real. What is it called? The Real Cup of Joe 101. And same with, I don't do the new X, the the Twitter, but it's there. But you can follow me on social, man. We're all ready to rock and roll and do this, man. To the point that, again, man, I thank you, and we're not planning the second show.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having a great show today. Chris Spice Knight is clapping for you. She
Thank
says,
you, guys.
looking forward to future shows. She says, thank you for your time. And with that note, y'all, we're going to end the show on a Cup of Joe's jingle. The man makes his own jingles, folks. We want you to enjoy. We want you to tune in for the rest of the day. We play music all day long on Real Talk 100 Radio. You're going to hear top hits from the 90s and 2000s, top hits from R&B legends, top hits from hip-hop legends. You're going to hear Southern soul music for the old heads, and later on at night, we have a lot of independent and underground music artists. Y'all keep it locked to Real Talk 100 Radio by going to our Facebook page and clicking the link in our bio. That's all we got today, y'all. On the Cup of Joe Morning Show, we're going to go out with the jingle.
Cup of Joe Morning Show. It's the Cup of Joe. Yeah. Good morning. Cup of Joe Morning Show. Yeah. Cup of Joe Morning Good morning.
I hope everybody has a great day. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and that's the reason he chose this day. That's the reason the Cup of Joe Morning Joe chose this day. Cup of Joe Morning Show, chose this day because it's Hump Day, and we'll see y'all every Hump Day from this day forward, from 10 a.m. to the 11 a.m. It's gonna be great. I got a sports show coming, and I can have a sports show B on the Cup of Joe Morning Show. I'm elated. We'll see y'all soon, y'all.
It's gonna happen.
Y'all have a great day. Good night. Goodbye.
It's okay.